Hello my friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make your first business automation. If you wanna learn automations, business automations, marketing automations, sales automations, and you need help with your first steps, stay with me and I'm going to show you how to start to get into this world of automations, okay? So let's do it. We're going to use n8n. n8n is an amazing tool to start in this world of automation. So let's do it. Stay with me, stay until the end of the video, so I promise you will learn a little bit more, and let's do it. I am here with my self-hosted n8n, and I need to tell you something. Some people told me that n8n is an expensive tool, and because of this reason they don't use n8n. But I need to tell you that it's possible to use n8n self-hosted at a VPS, a self-structure. So instead of paying n8n monthly, instead of going to n8n.com here and paying them monthly here at pricing, you can buy a VPS. What is a VPS? You go to Hostinger, for example. Hostinger. Let's put in English. Self-hosted n8n is the simple way. Choose your plan. Just paying $5 per month, you can have your self-hosted n8n. You don't need to buy to pay monthly to n8n, because it's an open source tool, and every open source tool you can self-host it in your own structure. So this is what I did. I have my own n8n, I have my n8n self-hosted and my structure, and I don't need to pay monthly. I pay cheaper for this, okay? So here is my n8n. And what do we have here? At this section overview, we have all our workflows. So every workflow you build, it will be here. So let's build our first workflow. We're going to create workflow here. And what do we have here? Some things we need to do. First thing, you need to put a name at your workflow. When you put a name at your workflow, you can find where you were working at. So put a name at your workflow always. Don't let it like my workflow 1, my workflow 2, my workflow 3. Probably it will be a problem for you in the future, okay? So here is our first workflow. We have editor, executions, evaluations. Today I'm gonna focus only at what you need to do. So the name I'm going to put here is Business Automation 1. Okay, Business Automation 1. We have a workflow saved, is inactive, and we need to add a trigger. To add a trigger is just by clicking here, and you have some options of trigger here. But I made a workflow with some options of trigger for you that is starting at this business automations. I'm prepared it for you, okay? Nodes and triggers. What is the options of triggers we have here? Trigger manually, on schedule, on form submission, on chat message, on webhook call, and when executed by another workflow. I put these options here. If you want to download this template, you can check it at the description, okay? So here I have the triggers, and if you want to use, for example, the trigger manually, you just to copy here, and you go to your workflow and paste, okay? So you can use it by copying and paste. And here I also have a dictionary about how to use the nodes. Nodes is very important when you have a big workflow and you need to remember some things. You need to make a documentation of your workflow. So if you want to use this workflow that I prepared For you who is starting at the business automations and you want some help with triggers and nodes, so download this workflow at the description, and after you download this, you go to a new workflow and import from a file and use the file you just download. Okay, so I'm going to use the trigger manually. What is this trigger manually? Runs the workflow when you click a button. Okay, so every time I execute workflow, it will be executed. So here, if I click at execute workflow, our workflow will be triggered. Okay, so I executed my workflow here. And how automations work: you have a trigger, you have a transformation, and you have an output. And this structure will be used a lot at business automations. Here, when you are building a major workflow, or you are inside a node, this structure of input, transformation, and output will be used a lot when you are working with business automations. Okay, so here I'm going back here to our workflow. I already added a trigger, is when clicking in execute workflow. Now I'm going to add a transformation node. What do we have of options of transformations nodes? When we click here or here and open nodes panel, we can see a lot of options: AI, actions in app, data transformations, flow. There is a lot of options here, but we are going to use actions in app. Here in actions in app, we have a lot of options of apps you can use to make transformations, to make business automations. Okay, and to do our first steps, I like to use the Google Sheets. So when I type Google here, we have a lot of apps of Google that we can use for our workflow. I'm going to use Google Sheets here. And what do I want in these first steps? I want to get a row in a sheet. I put here get a row in a sheet. So what do we need to do? We need to do a connection. I made a Google Sheets account connection. I'm going to make a video just showing you how to make connections with apps. Okay, but for a while, know that you need to do this connection, and you need to choose what is the spreadsheet you want. The spreadsheet I want is my first automation, YouTube first automation, and the sheet is page 1. Here's in Portuguese. Basically is this. So for example, I'm going to put my name here, Juan. And what is my workflow doing now? We have a trigger and we have a node. What this node does: this node gets information from the spreadsheet and gives it back for us, so we can use this information to do whatever we want. Okay, for example, if I execute this workflow by clicking here, it will be executed and it will bring it back and information to us. So we have one item of information. If I go to our spreadsheet and put another answer here, I will put like video. It will bring two informations to us, two items. I open here, I can see our input, our transformation area, and our output. Our structure of nodes is just like this: an input, and it will be showing our previous node, our transformation area, and our output. This is the basic structure you need to learn and you need to know to start your first steps at business automations: input, transformation, and output. This is the basic. Okay, so let's do something different here so you can understand a little bit more. Okay, let's go back to nodes and triggers, and we go to this trigger on chat message. How does it work? It runs the workflow when a user sends a chat message. Okay, simple example, a user sends, what are your prices? AI agent replies automatically. We are going to speak about AI agents in another video, but what you need to know here is when we chat a message, the workflow will be triggered. Okay, so let's copy and let's paste here. I'm going to delete our trigger here, and I'm going to use when chat message received. So here you can see that we have a chat area, so we can chat whatever we want here. For example, hi, and every time I type anything here, I chat anything here, our workflow will be triggered. With this trigger, you can test a lot of things. Yes, this is useful for you to test a lot of things. For example, if you want to make a business automations that receives messages from your clients, and this is the trigger of your automations, you can use this trigger to test your workflow. So you don't need to be receiving messages all the times from your clients for testing or building your automations. You just need to put this trigger here and you can simulate what you need. So what do I want here? I want when I chat a message, when I receive a message, trigger my workflow, and instead of getting information from this spreadsheet, I want to append the information in that sheet. Okay, I'm going to change here my operation. I opened my node, my spreadsheet node, and I'm going to change my operation from get rows to append row. So I'm going to append row, and here I'm going to show you an important concept of n8n. You can use the informations, you can use the resources from the previous node in your transformation nodes. Okay, for example, here I type hi, and hi triggered my workflow. So hi is a output from my trigger. Okay, so I can use this output as an input of my transformation node. So I can drag and drop chat input here and use it at my column where I want this information to be. So answers, you can see that answers is a column of my spreadsheet. So I'm using the chat input here, hi. I put this chat input in answers, that is my column. If I had other columns here, it would be showing me these other columns. So as I have only one column, I put here. Every time that I type anything here, it will be appended at my spreadsheet. For example, I'm going to write automation. The answer was registered at my spreadsheet. This is how n8n works in a simple way. You have an input, you have a transformation node, and you have an output. You need to build workflows, and with these workflows you need to choose a trigger that will be triggering your workflow. And just by drag and drop information, you can use the information you receive at a node in another nodes, and you can transformation this in the output you want. Just one more thing, if you come here and click at this button, activate workflow, your workflow will be activated. Okay, and what you can do with a workflow activated with this kind of trigger, this chat message trigger, you can come here and make chat public available. Okay, so we have a public chat available here. You can copy this link by clicking here, and you go to your URL and you have a chat here. Okay, so every time you type anything here, for example, chat, the workflow will be triggered. So I come back here and I can see the workflow at executions. This is running, okay? And after it finishes, I can go to our spreadsheet and see the automations just happened, okay? So you have a public link of your chat, and you can customize this. You can change your initial message, you can uh, change the subtitle, the title, you can add another fields, and I invite you to check all these options and discover how we can help you. Okay, now you have a public link, and if you want people, for example, to register some information at a spreadsheet, and you want to give these people a better screen, a better window, better interface to these people type things at your spreadsheet, you can share this link with these people, so everything people type here will be registered at that spreadsheet. Okay, this is just the first steps you can go through to start learning about n8n, to start learning about business automations. There's a lot of things to do, there's a lot of things to learn, and I invite you to follow my YouTube channel. I also have a mentorship program to people who needs to go through their first steps of business automations, to know about automations in marketing, in sales. This mentorship works with a free session with me, just me and you, and I can explain all the program and I can understand all your needs and we can work on your needs. Okay, so I'm going to show you, I'm going to help you, I'm going to give you some challenges so you can learn by doing. So I invite you to send a message for me at LinkedIn, to submit a form that I put at the description. So if you submit the form, I'm going to get in touch with you. We can understand how this program, this mentorship program, can be good for you. Okay, so I invite you to click at this link to submit the form and let's grow together. And to finish this video, think big, start small, grow fast. Bye.